Welcome to Fact of Life podcast, where we dive into topics that shape our digital age. My name is Gideon, as always, and today we are exploring a sobriety reality the internet does not forget. Join me as I uncover the implications of our digital footprint and how to navigate the performance of our online presence in the constantly evolving digital landscape. Let's just kick off by acknowledging the enduring nature of our online activities. From a social media post to search history, every click leaves a trace in the vast expanse of cyberspace. As Victor Mayer Schonberger famously said, forgetting used to be a natural process. Now it's a choice. So let's dive into the implications of our digital footprint and the challenges they pose for privacy and personal reputation of late. Let's explore how the internet acts as a digital archive, preserving our online activities for posterity. While this can be a boom for historical preservation and knowledge sharing when it comes to it, it also unfortunately means that any mistakes and indiscretions can come back to haunt you years later. I've seen instances where people are vetted through their online presence to be able to acquire a job. Just getting a job, just getting a normal job. One of the places that I have seen people personally, I have seen people vetted me in the pursuit of a job application that I did is actually through the famous LinkedIn platform. People will, and recruiters and employers will come look at you and look for your footprint, what you've been saying in the past 5 years, what you have going on, how your activity is, the type of products you look at, the type of information you are interested in, and stuff like that. So we will examine case studies and real life examples of individual whose past actions resurface in an unexpected way. Underscoring the importance of digital literacy is actually a problem and a foresight. You have to be able to understand how important it is. Next, we delve into strategies for managing our online reputation and mitigating the risk associated with our digital footprint. From proactive privacy settings to cultivating a positive online presence. True, some of these applications and some of these platforms have privacy settings. For example, Instagram has a mode where you can turn off on your privacy mode or private account mode where people that can actually see whatever you have going on is the people that you accept to follow you and the people that you do follow back. But let's not forget there's the ability of people being able to hack your account. There's the ability of people having super computer knowledge to actually bypass this privacy thing that you think you got going on and still seeing what you have been going on with for the last 5 years. So there are steps we can take to shape the narrative of our digital identity. I'll share some with you for simple practical tips and tools for maintaining control over our online personas and safeguarding our personal and professional reputations. Our digital footprint can have far-reaching consequences on both our personal and our professional lives. As I mentioned earlier, example, I do post most of my podcast episode on my LinkedIn and my some of my social medias that I'm tied into. So I'm very concerned and I'm very particular about what I say, how I say it, and the type of intentions and the type of idea I put out there or actually say in my podcast as well. So these are some of the examples. You have to care about your personal and professional life when you're out and about on the internet doing and saying stuff. Hence, there are so many people that I sometimes stumble upon on the internet And the type of things they say kind of really surprises me. In the sense that I think about their professional lives, and if even if it's not personal life, their professional lives as well too. Employers, potential partners, and even strangers have unprecedented access to the information about us with just a few clicks. We will explore the challenge and opportunity presented by this newfound transparency, as well as the ethical consideration involved in navigating the digital realm. My last two episodes have been about personal goals and understanding how the society works. This is no different at all. This also goes a long way to talk about and also explain the concerns and the fears that people should also be much aware of, except that this is actually just mostly concerning the digital world that we find ourselves. For some personal reasons, I know a few people that actually are very much concerned about this topic in particular, and so they don't have social media presence. So they think, right? But in the end, everything you do now is actually going onto some computer somewhere. So you may not have a Facebook account, may not have a TikTok account, you may not have a LinkedIn account, if you may, but that does not isolate you completely from what we are talking about here today. The end goal here, to me as a person, that I can say is just be aware of the type of things you post. I'm not really into much politics. I don't really know a lot of politicians, even when I think most of the people that I know are usually just the president and the vice, and basically maybe the governor of the state that I live in. I'm not so much into politics, so I would say I don't really have much trail when it comes to politics. One of the things that I have Harley in the past and in recent times been playing and joking about is actually President Biden actually saying he wanted to help us pay or get rid of some of the student loan that we have pending. Some of us, like me myself, I have student loan that I haven't been able to pay off yet. So with that being said, when he talked about it, I know there were some people that were opposing it as because they've paid theirs off or they're almost done and feel like it's not fair. But because it was going for me as a person, I was actually really in support of it. And when he became a president, fast forward, it didn't look like it was actually going to be a promise that was going to be fulfilled. And I have since been posting his photos and actually online presence whenever he talks about the student loan and how he still wants us to be assured that he was going to pay for it, or he was going to at least try to help and pay for some people. And anytime he posts that, I will probably just repost that comment and say, "This man, you're lying to me. You promise you're going to pay for us, but you haven't paid for it." And that's as far as I can go as a person personally. That's as far as I would like to go. I make fun of it and knowing well that it may never happen. And so when he talks about it, like quite recently, he said he was still working on it and he was assuring us of being able to fulfill this promise. And I was like, I posted that post that he made and a local African song that basically says that people look for trouble and trouble don't look for people, basically, which means that most people, a lot of us have stopped talking about it. A lot of us have stopped expecting this to happen. And so when he comes back and each time when we're almost over it and talks about it again, he's the one that is reassuring us and hence bringing trouble on himself, because when it doesn't get done, then we're just going to complain about it. So that's what this whole thing is about. Whilst I'm closing this chapter and this segment and this episode out, I want to say we'll leave with you a message of empowerment, as I always do, and resilience in the face of our digital age. While the internet may never forget, we can learn to navigate its complexity with grace and resilience by embracing digital literacy while practicing mindful online behavior as well, and also fostering strong offline connections. We can thrive in an era where our digital footprints are etched in stone. Like it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. I'm still getting reminded by videos and photos I took on vacations or with family and friends, or basically by myself. 7 years later, like I took Instagram, for example, reminds you of that. Snapchat, for one, I know I do have a Snapchat account. I know Snapchat, for once, does a really good job in reminding me of this type of incidents and this type of days. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I just can't reflect on that and reconnect to the past. Just like my last episode said, do not stay in the past. And even though I don't wish to stay in the past, it's a really good way of remembering what you did 5 years ago, what you did a year ago, what you did like 3 months ago, and stuff like that. In some sense, it kind of help you to be able to recollect and actually look back and see how far you've come and stuff like that. So, as I conclude this episode today, I invite you to reflect on the permanence of your digital presence and the importance of digital literacy in our interconnected world. I remember when I was a kid in around 1997, I remember there was, I think it's Steve Jobs, and he kept talking about global village. And I didn't really understand it at the time because I was too young. And now looking back, really, we are living in a global village where I can just record like a 10 minutes long audio and send it over to my friend in Germany. And he's just probably going to receive it in about 30 seconds if he's got a good internet. So everything is everywhere. Everybody can get access to anything around the world. And that's why when you're doing something, remember every click leaves a mark, but it's up to us to shape the narrative of our online identity. Join us next time as we continue to explore the ever evolving landscape of the digital age. Until then, folks, stay informed, stay mindful, and stay empowered. I'm out.